We're going to let this one roll. So, welcome back to the Hype Mind. We are talking about tattoos and the body because that's such an interesting controversy. Um, so that's what we're talking about. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your time. Thanks for hitting like and subscribe because I know you just did that. Appreciate it so much. But thanks especially for watching. Um, yeah, we're talking about tattoos. Who's got a tattoo? If you
Yeah.
got a tattoo, hit like,
If you don't hit like,
and if and if you subscribe. Uh, yeah. So the reason I wanted to bring this up was um, everybody has different preferences. I'm speaking from the perspective of I like women, right? And some women have a lot of tattoos, and some guys like that, and some guys don't, right? And my own, obviously, I have my own personal preference and opinion, and I have my own opinion of what a tattoo does to your body, especially as a woman, in my eyes. Um, and that's going to vary. Some
okay,
men,
wait. How many men have you met who have said that they do like women with tattoos?
quite a few guys are like, dude, I think it's so hot when she's all tatted up, and I'm like, yeah, I do too. I think a woman all tatted up is really hot too, but odds are I probably wouldn't marry her, um,
Mhm.
because it is very easy, and I definitely do this, to make assumptions about someone who's all has a lot of tattoos. And when I say a lot, I
Is
mean
there
like
too far? Is there a is there too many tattoos that
when,
you think that those guys you talk to would have like deemed as
well,
they're
when
no
I say a
longer,
lot of
they're
tattoos,
no longer as attractive
sleeve
with
or a
that many
full
tattoos?
full sleeves, or like tattoos, just so like more tattoos than you could count or name. And yes, there is like, when I say I've met guys who say they like girls with tattoos, they mean the more the better. They mean like if you completely naked are covered in head to toe with tattoo, they love that. And
Face
I
tattoos, neck tattoos. Yeah.
I think there's something that is attractive about that, but I probably wouldn't want that for someone who I was going to marry. It's like with my own, like I have tattoos, but and this is one of the points I want to make. I think having a tattoo completely depends on. There is a big difference on whether you're a guy or girl with a tattoo, and we'll go into that why shortly.
Yeah.
But the other
You know
thing
what?
is, like,
I like
even
guys with tattoos too, but I'm not gonna marry
even
them either.
tattoos, even though I have tattoos, I don't mind that I have. I like that I have tattoos, right? But I hide them because I don't. I want to also be able to maintain a professional presence. And some people can say, why can't you have that with tattoos? Right. And the answer is because you don't control other people's opinions. If you go to meet the CEO of a big company and he doesn't like tattoos, it doesn't matter whether you think you can be professional with tattoos or not. If he doesn't like them, that's it. That's his opinion. And if you're trying to be in good terms with other CEOs or other big people who have an influence or who you want to, network with, or, win the opinion of or close a deal with, and they have a preference and they don't like tattoos on your hands and tattoos on your face, then you lost. And that's how it goes. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. It's so even though I have tattoos and I like tattoos on myself and on others, I want to still be able to maintain a professional presence. So I have tattoos in places where I can cover them up if necessary.
Yeah, I definitely hate that reason for like wanting to look professional is to impress people or to
I
not impress people. But no, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It definitely plays a big influence on people's first impressions. Do make a difference when you meet someone in the start of your relationship with somebody. It definitely does make an impact, but to say that's why maybe you shouldn't get tattoos or maybe you shouldn't uncover them, I just don't like that.
Well, I don't think people put enough weight on first impressions, right? They're like, well, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Um, I understand where you're coming from with that, but the fact of the matter is, we do, and you do too. Everybody does. It's like I walk down the street, and if someone's fat, I'm like, well, it looks like you don't take care of yourself, so I might not take as much time as I would to take time with someone who has similar values with me and does take care of themselves, you know? So it's like, it doesn't matter if it's appearance, that maybe something you can't control, if it's obesity, if it's tattoos, if it's the way you dress, it all impacts first impression. And first impression is very important. It might be the difference between you getting the job of your dreams or not, right? And like, yeah, I don't think that would actually limit you from getting the job of your dreams. But I'm just saying, opportunity comes knocking all the time. And if you're not setting yourself up in the best way possible, you could miss that. And I definitely think appearance, personal appearance, and first impressions have a huge role to play in that. I don't dress like a bum. I don't. I take care of my health. I groom myself. I take care of my hygiene, and I do my best to look good. You know, obviously everybody has an opinion of what's good looking or attractive, but like, society does a pretty good job of dictating that. Biology does a pretty good job of dictating that. Forget society.
Yeah. Anyways, what I've experienced with tattoos is I more on the side of I don't prefer them, especially on women. I don't mind them either. Like I guess sometimes I'll think they look good, but definitely there's a too much. There's if she has too many tattoos, it's not attractive. And I definitely think she can overdo it. It's like painting too much on a canvas, And yeah, I remember this one a couple girls actually, they wanted, they're telling me about how they wanted more tattoos, and I didn't like that, so I told them, and I wasn't gonna control them and be like, no, you can't have tattoos, but she wanted it anyways, and I broke up with her.
Well, and that brings up a
Not
good
over the
point.
tattoos.
That's your personal preference. It's like, not your. I'm sorry. That brings up a good point because that's you being honest, right? And everybody's like, you have to be honest to have a good relationship. So if your personal preference is, I don't like tattoos, that's okay. It's like your partner can still have tattoos even if you don't like them, and you go from there. But it's not worth lying about. Like, I don't really care for tattoos. I don't mind them, but like you're saying, there is a point where there's too many. And I'm also very critical about, well, how much money did you spend on them? What are they of? Because some of them are like really sweet quotes. Some of them are stuff for like people who've died, and some of them are just silly images. And you're like, well, that looked cute, so I got it tattooed on me. It's like, yeah, but in 20 years, is it going to look cute? Like, I don't know. Like, is it? Like, so you spent what, $300 and you're broke? So it's like, I do make those judgments because, especially if I'm going to date someone, it's like, do I want to be with someone who spends $300 on over painting a canvas? And the painting the canvas analogy, I like that's funny because people would be like, well, your body's a blank canvas, isn't that boring? It's like, no, the human body untattooed is beautiful if you take care of it. It's like, it is perfect. It's like nature. It's like, you don't have to paint nature. Nature's gorgeous. And so, that's the human body. It's like,
Great analogy.
Perfect the way it is. If you tattoo it, it could add to it, it could take away from it. That's going to be opinion. But like, the female body to me is beautiful. Like, I love the curves. I love the shape of the female body. I love the smile. I love the face, like all of it. Like, so you don't need to paint it to look better. You might think you do. That might be a you problem. But, if you're spending $200, $300, $500 on a tattoo that you really shouldn't be spending on a tattoo that's like, is it that good? Like, I don't know. I've seen some, they're pretty, but it's like, what do you like? Just get a necklace,
Right. It's interesting too.
Flower.
The biggest deterrent for tattoos, I think, is the idea that it's permanent. I mean, even though there is a way to remove them, but yeah, like you get it and you don't think of removing it, which is fine. And I kind of like I like that too. I like the commitment part of it, but I also don't. And it's like I feel like tattoos are especially like clothes you wear. Like I don't want to be in the same clothes every day.
Right.
Same thing with tattoos. I might think they're cool, but do I want to switch it up? Absolutely.
They are cool, you know, but you know what else is cool? Earrings are cool. Rings are cool. Necklaces are cool, you know, but like I don't wear those all the time. I take them off. Hats are cool. I like wearing hats. I like wearing sunglasses. I don't wear sunglasses all the time. You know, clothes are cool. Like it's all cool. But sometimes I want to walk around naked, you know? So what you know, I do like that. The one of the biggest points I wanted to make here um, is as a man, you know, there's a lot of things people look for, and there's a lot of reasons it's okay to have tattoos. But as a man who's looking for a woman to give his commitment to, because that's what women want, right? Men want um, reproduction rights. They want to bring on their heirs, and women want commitment from men. And a man who's going to give his commitment wants to give it at a very genuine level. If he's genuinely interested in being committed to someone, dating, marriage, all that stuff, right? Long term, he wants to give his commitment to someone who respects their body, right? And and that looks like, you know, does covering your body from head to toe in ink look like respecting your body? Maybe, but also might not. You know, does showing, it's like the same thing with showing your body. Like women are like, well, what's the problem if I wear what I want to? It's like, because to some degree, you know, this is the value thing that women don't understand sometimes, is that your value as a woman to a man is in the respect you have for your body, because men are attracted to you for your beauty, for your godlike image, right? That's why they want to be with you. They're attracted to you because of your godlike image and your beauty, right? And so respect for your body does sometimes look like having self-restraint when you want a tattoo, or covering yourself up a little more. That doesn't mean you can't, you know, be revealing, right? It's like I don't have a problem with a woman wearing a bikini at the beach, but if you're walking around everywhere in a bikini saying "free the nips," it's like that just doesn't show respect for yourself. You can argue all you want, it does, but me as a man, I don't believe it does. I believe you are not respecting your body, and you're not respecting the beauty and the godlike divinity of that your body represents, and that men love, not in an objective way, right? In a revered way, right? Your body, I would argue, is a reflection of the beauty of God, and to respect that means you need to cover it up, and you need to not coat it with like, you know, materialistic things, right? Things of the world. Um, And so there's nothing objective about the appreciation, the deep appreciation, the genuine appreciation men have for a woman's beauty. And so I think that shows a level of disrespect towards that. And men are going to be like, if you don't respect your body, I don't know if that's what I want to commit to.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. It's like the way you dress, the way, the tattoos you have, it can be a reflection of what's on the inside and how you feel about yourself. And so what Andrew was saying is what men want in women is a woman that will respect their own body. And sometimes the reason for women dressing a certain way or putting tattoos on their body is because they don't respect their body, or they feel insecure. They feel like they have to cover it up. They feel like they have to.
Or they have to show
Well,
it.
yeah, they have to show exactly that too. That's what I was going to mention. So yeah.
Well, and you know, how is this different for men, right? Why does it not matter as much if a man gets a tattoo? Because women don't look at men for their bodies, right? For the beauty they show physically, right? Women look at men for what they can create and build. That's not to say women can't create and build, right? That's not my point. My point is women are attracted to men for what they go out and accomplish, right? Some people wisely refer to this as their ability to penetrate the world, right? Their ability to go out, meet their edge, and courageously create, build, and do great things for the world. And women and men, I'm sorry, right? So that's a completely different thing you're looking for in a man when you find deep attraction for him. Men, like I said, they're attracted to that godlike image of beauty that a woman physically represents, right? And you know, I understand women become older and they, you know, like this, the human body ages, right? That doesn't matter. Even at an old age, even with the human body aging, a woman still represents that godlike beauty, that feminine aspect of God. And so it's like the argument isn't actually a fair or valid argument about, well, then why do men get to tattoo their bodies? Because it's not to say it doesn't matter. Men have to respect their bodies too, of course, right? But it's a different story completely. It's like you don't see the divinity in God when you look at a man. You see the divinity of godliness when you see what he does with his body versus what he portrays by showing his body.
Mm-hmm. I really like what you said earlier about how the skin isn't just a canvas, a blank canvas, but it's like nature. You know, it could look plain, right? A tree or the grass, but there's still a beauty to it. And tattoos don't need to cover that up.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like for a woman too, it's like, you know, this just makes me think about women wearing excessive makeup. You know, it's covering up themselves because they don't think they portray the beauty they want.
Right. Well, and that's like, that's a good point too, because that's an opinionated thing. It's like some guys like that, some guys don't. Personally, I don't. I know you don't. Women wear makeup to look more attractive. They just have to learn how much makeup they need to apply to actually look as attractive as they can, right? And so like more isn't always better, right? Sometimes more is less, like they say. And so it's like some girls put on a little bit of makeup and like boom, that's it. It's like done. And some girls, they might need a little more makeup, that's fine. But a lot of times we have a hard time judging that, like that's a good point because you don't always, it's like, yeah, nature is beautiful. And sometimes you give it a little more sunlight and it's even more beautiful, So there's things that are good like that where you can make, like a nice dress makes a woman look lovely, right? Even though she's already beautiful, in her natural human form, but a little bit of makeup, maybe you need a little more than the other woman, doesn't matter. But I do like that point. Did you have a question about my tattoos?
Yeah, your motives for getting them. That's my question. What were your motives? Like, could you even answer that? Was it just a whim?
No, I feel like they represented parts of me that I felt should be represented. And I guess the advice to women in that regards would be, I would be careful, specifically as a woman, to express parts of yourself that you feel like need to be represented in the forms of tattoos. Look for other alternatives. I don't think the impact is nearly as large for guys. But yes, there were parts of me that I was like, wow, a tattoo I feel like would really represent that nicely. Would say, I've done this, and it was a great like part of my history, or I love doing this, and it's a great part of who I am. I think tribally, that's kind of what tattoos meant too. When like some of the islanders would have those, that style of tattoo and the amount of tattoos they'd have as a guy.
Yeah, but
So
what was the appeal with tattoos though? Because it's like I mean, yeah, you can recognize that. I could see other ways you could, I guess, do that too, like celebrate that or, you know, purchase something of symbolism, um, or add something in your routine that symbolizes that. But I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
it's
But yeah, like
yeah,
just curious about why the imprintment on the body.
and I could have done without it too. Like I thought about that too. I
Mhm.
I didn't feel a need to do it. Right. I was like, I didn't have to. If someone had been like, this is a bad choice, I'd been like, okay, or if God had shown up and been like, don't get a tattoo, I'd have been like, I won't. But I was like, oh, I have some spending money. I really like this idea. You know, it was like most of my tattoos are self-inspired. You know, it was like things came to me and I was like, ooh, I really think that would look good as a tattoo to represent that part of me.
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something you could also say that's special about them because it's it's supposed to be unremovable. And so
right.
in that case, like that's what
Well,
makes it
that's it. It's like I feel like the
kind of
tattoos
special.
that I get and that I choose all represent a part of me that isn't removable. You know, like a part of my soul. It's some of them, and a part of my heritage, others, right? A part of my blood. Um, and I think for guys, that is, yeah. And again, here's another difference. Is like for men that matters. Like your history and your lineage is everything for a man. It's not for a woman, right? Like take that as you want, but you know, women get kidnapped and brought to other countries and plundered and raped during wars, right? Like, or they, you know, they get kidnapped during wars and they go and to prevent or to like protect themselves, they would go and just assimilate into a new society. Um, and but men would die for wars, you know, like their lineage was everything. You know, they would in wars, other tribes, other bands, other um, countries would kill all the men and boys, right, to stop that line. Um, and so that's actually something fascinating about World War II that we'd have to chat about is the fact that Hitler wanted to kill all the Jews and not just the men. Although I'm sure he did prioritize just the men. But but yeah, you know, the history of tribalism is you kill the men and boys, or you emasculate them and you steal the women and you procreate with them to spread your own heritage and lineage into the world. And so, you know, for a man to connect deeply with his blood and his soul is, well, it's important for everybody to connect deeply with their soul, but for a man to connect deeply with his bloodline and want to remember it and want to push it forward, I think is a lot more like yeah, normal is like a weak word for that, but a lot more innate in masculine nature versus women who are like, my priorities are security and my offspring. And men are like, my priorities are creating offspring.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, that's all, dude.
All
That's
right,
it.
guys.
If you're a chick, you know, think about getting, you know, think about that before you get a tattoo. That's all I would say. So,
Cool.
peace.
Done.